So, you've done it. You used one of those amazing no-code or AI tools, and you built a working prototype of your big idea. It looks awesome, it's functional, and now you're at that final step, the most exciting and maybe, just maybe, the most intimidating one, taking it live for the whole world to use.
You're probably staring at this incredible app you've built, and this one big question just hits you. Okay, now what, right? How do you get this thing out of its cozy, safe little home and into the wild, where there's real users and real traffic? Well, that's the exact hurdle we're going to clear today. I mean, tools like Lovable, Bolt, and V0 are complete game changers. They let you just focus on what really matters, the logic, the design, the user experience, without writing tons of code. But they get you to this point I call the scaling wall. It's the moment your prototype has to grow up and become a real application.
Think about it. Your prototype lives in a sandbox. It's a safe, controlled little world. But a production environment? That is a whole different beast. It's got to handle traffic spikes, it needs rock-solid security, and it has to be on a cloud provider that keeps it running 24/7. So how in the world do we cross that gap?
And here it is. This is the key. The one single piece of the puzzle that connects your brilliant prototype to every single major cloud platform out there is your Git repository. You got to think of this as the golden bridge, taking you from your idea straight to production.
So what is it, really? A Git repository, like the ones on GitHub, is basically the master blueprint for your app. It's the one and only official version of your code. And it doesn't matter what tool created that code. Once it's in GitHub, it's ready for the big leagues.
This brings us to a beautiful universal pattern. It's just 3 repeatable steps. First, you export the code from whatever tool you used. Second, you commit that code to your GitHub repository. And third, you connect that repository to a cloud service. That's it. This exact formula works for every single option we're about to explore.
So let's talk about path number 1, the Google ecosystem. This is probably for you if you're already in Google's world, or if you know right from the start that your app is going to need some serious back-end muscle, like a powerful database. In that case, Firebase and Google Cloud are going to be your best friends.
Here's how all the pieces fit together. Firebase hosting takes care of your front end, the part users actually see. Firestore gives you that powerful database, and Cloud Functions run all your back-end logic without you ever having to worry about managing a server. The real beauty here is how tightly integrated they are. They're built to talk to each other, so you spend less time configuring and more time building. The workflow, it follows our pattern perfectly. After your code is safe in GitHub, you'll use something called the Firebase CLI. Now don't let the term command line scare you. It's just a way to type instructions. And really, it's just 2 simple commands. Firebase init to get your project set up, and Firebase deploy to send it live. It's honestly way more straightforward than it sounds.
Okay, stop for a second, because this is the most important rule of all. You can never, ever, ever commit sensitive stuff like API keys or passwords to your GitHub repository. It's public. Instead, use a tool like Google Secret Manager, or you let a cloud function handle anything that needs a secret key. This keeps everything safely hidden on the server, far away from prying eyes.
All right, let's move on to path number 2, the AWS powerhouse. You know, Amazon Web Services. This is the choice for when your number one concern is scalability. I'm talking near infinite scalability. If you want to build on the world's biggest and most comprehensive cloud platform, this is your go-to. Now, AWS has hundreds of services, which can be overwhelming, but you really only need a few to start. AWS Amplify is your on-ramp. It's designed to make hosting your app much, much simpler. The key with AWS is to start small. Just use what you need and resist that temptation to explore everything else, or you'll get lost. What's great about AWS Amplify is that the workflow is all visual. You don't need the command line. You just go into the AWS console, you point Amplify at your GitHub repository, and it usually figures out all the settings automatically. You just click Save and Deploy, and AWS takes care of the rest. And here comes the security warning for AWS. The rule is exactly the same, but the tools have different names. Don't hardcode credentials. You use AWS Secrets Manager to store them securely. Then you use something called IAM roles to manage who or what has permission to access them. Just think of an IAM role as a special key card that only opens the doors your app is allowed to open.
And that brings us to our third and final path, the one for people who just crave speed and a really slick modern workflow. If your project absolutely has to be fast and you want the best possible developer experience, then the combo of Vercel and Cloudflare is for you.
So here's how this power duo works. Vercel is the deployment engine. It's famous for just working right out of the box, zero configuration. Then you put Cloudflare in front of it for world-class security and speed. Here's a great way to think about it. Vercel builds the lightning-fast supercar, and Cloudflare builds the armored global superhighway for it to drive on.
And the process? It's just so simple, it's almost funny. Once your code is in GitHub, you go to Vercel, you tell it to import your repository, and you click one button. Deploy. That's it. Vercel automatically builds your site and pushes it out to a global network instantly. It seriously feels like magic.
For security, Vercel makes this incredibly easy. Right in your project settings, there's a section for environment variables. You just paste your secret keys in there. Think of it like a secure little lockbox where your app can go get the keys it needs after it's running on the server so they never show up in your public code.
Okay, so we've just covered 3 really powerful but really distinct paths to take your prototype into the real world. Now, let's just bring it all together so you can choose the absolute best launchpad for your project.
So here's the summary, right at a glance. You should go with Google Cloud if you want that powerful, integrated backend. You should pick AWS if you know you're building something that needs to scale to the moon one day. And you choose Vercel if your main priority is a blazing fast site and a developer workflow that just feels good. But really, the single most important thing to take away from all this is simple. Your Git repository is the universal key. It's the bridge that connects your idea to every professional cloud platform. If you master this one piece, you can deploy your app anywhere you want.
And please, one final crucial reminder. Secure your secrets from day one. Don't make it an afterthought. Use the tools each platform gives you, whether it's called Secret Manager or environment variables. Just build good security habits into your process right from the very beginning. So now it's your turn. Look at your project. Think about your goals. Which path will your prototype take? Whether it's the integrated power of Google, the incredible scale of AWS, or the modern speed of Vercel, your journey to a live, production-ready app, it starts right now.